Hello and welcome to the launch of the first ever Times Higher Education China subject ratings. My name is Duncan Ross and I'm the Chief Data Officer for Times Higher Education. Today is a very important day. Times Higher Education has been in existence for almost 50 years, and during that time we've played a key role in reporting on higher education across the world. Very importantly, in 2004 we launched the World University Rankings. This was initially a list of 200 universities, primarily from Western Europe and North America, and it sought to give information to both universities and prospective students about higher education, a world that was often seen as being walled off from everyday experience. The ranking has grown significantly over the years, from the 200 universities that started off in 2004 to just under 1,400 universities last year. As well as the overall ranking, we also produce subject-based rankings, and subjects are crucially important to understand universities. At the moment, we explore 11 high-level subjects. We've often been asked to explore subjects in much more detail. Could we dig down below those 11 broad subjects and provide insight that would be perhaps more directly relevant, particularly to prospective students? For many years we've chosen not to do this. Finding data at that level of detail which is consistent is not easy. But today, for the first time, we'll be launching just such an analysis. And the analysis is unique, not least because we've decided to break away from the traditional perspective of subjects, which is based around a hierarchy developed from the late Middle Ages and into the Enlightenment, and is very much driven by the Western understanding of how subjects should be grouped and how they should be interpreted. For the first time, we will be exploring subjects from the perspective of an individual nation, and we've decided to do that with China. China has a very different academic history than Western Europe and North America, and the Chinese Ministry of Education has built out its own ranking, its own hierarchy of subjects. And so that will be the basis for our interpretation of universities. Now, we hope that this analysis will be especially helpful to both universities, providing additional insight into where they might want to do partnerships or where they might want to understand the best behaviour of other institutions, but also very importantly to students and prospective students who may be about to make some of the biggest decisions in their lives. Where are they going to study? Is it going to be in China, at one of your excellent universities, or is it going to be elsewhere in the world? And because of this, we decided to analyse these subjects not just for Chinese universities, but also for universities more broadly across the world. The core data, as we'll see in a minute, comes from our existing data sources, but at a much more detailed level than we have used in the past. Now, what about our approach? How are we choosing to do this? I've already mentioned that we have the World University Rankings, and rankings have both positive and negative aspects. They encourage competition between institutions because they directly compare the performance of one university with another. But for some people that can in itself be challenging. Surely the goal of higher education is cooperation as much as it is competition. On the positive side, they provide information that might not otherwise be available, both to universities but also to other users, whether those are governments or prospective students. The downside, of course, is they do this in a way where there are winners and where there are losers. Another positive is that they bring this information together into a single easily understood number. They amalgamate aspects of university performance. And we're very proud that the World University Rankings is the only global ranking that brings in aspects of research and of teaching and of internationalization and of relevance to industry and commerce. Of course, the downside of that is that we lose a lot of the nuance. A university might perform particularly well in one area, but not as well in other areas. And that often gets blurred when we look at the overall rankings. As a result of all of this, we've decided to take a different approach when it comes to the China subject ratings. Rather than produce a series of rankings, we are instead evaluating in a way that allows many universities to share a grade. We hope this will give a reasonable and respectful classification of university performance, one where individual competition is perhaps slightly less emphasized, and instead we can look at rewarding excellence wherever we find it. And by doing this for universities across the world, we also hope that we can highlight areas of unique performance by Chinese universities, and perhaps also areas where there is opportunity to grow. This is very much, though, an experiment. This is something that we are doing in partnership with universities from China and indeed from other organizations within China. And we hope that that partnership will grow as we go forwards. If we don't think that this is working, if we think there are areas that can be improved, we're keen to hear from you. And we hope that you will participate in this partnership going forwards. China is an important place. It is an area of the world which has seen huge investment in its higher education. And we hope that the work we're doing around the China subject ratings will both help people from within China to understand better how Chinese universities are performing, but also it will help open China to the world in terms of understanding the excellence of your university system. And with that, let's look at the detailed methodology and how we hope to have achieved our aims.